Welcome to Iceland, the home of volcanic craters, exploding geothermal geysers, hundreds of miles of frozen snowy landscape, and for the next 3 days, 1,000 avid fans of online space exploration game, EVE. I'm Sam White, games critic for GQ, and I'm here at FanFest finding out more about this game's incredible appeal. Every year, EVE developer CCP hosts EVE FanFest, allowing its most committed players to hear exclusive announcements about the game, and more importantly, to meet, play and drink together. But first off, what is EVE?
EVE is a big sandbox where you and your mates go and blow things up you spent days working towards.
EVE is a big psychological experiment.
EVE is a different universe, literally. It is still a MMORPG, it's still a computer game, it's still an online game, but it's at the same time it's so much more.
EVE Online is a multiplayer space fighting trading game. You start your journey as a young capsuleer in a small ship. Dream is to have a big ship and be a part of a corporation that's a part of an alliance that has an agenda to conquer the universe.
Players invest time and money into the game, building fleets and space stations. All of this has real-world value and can be destroyed. Last year's battle was one of the biggest that EVE has ever seen and cost players an estimated $300,000 real-world dollars in lost ships.
So there's lots of ways to play EVE. Fighting against other players is one way, or mining is another. You can play EVE by logging in, or you can play EVE by talking on Skype or on TeamSpeak. Everyone finds their fun in different ways, but that's why we play.
So in EVE, I'm a peasant. I sort of just do really menial stuff, and then in real life I'm a software engineer, so I feel like I achieve things.
I'm in null security space and I mainly do logistics, which means like repairing ships in real time in fights.
As well as playing the more traditional game roles, some players end up going on to become celebrities. Players like Space Pope. The Pope, who works for NASA in real life, heads up a religious faction in-game and visits FanFest every year with a harem of nuns and bodyguard monks, even offering galactic addresses in times of crisis.
I had no choice about being the Space Pope at all. I did not call myself the Space Pope. What happened is the players did this to me. When people have either emotional problems and they have to quit for real life reasons, or they need a place, they can just park, in our safe harbor for a while and then move on to other things in EVE. So we kind of provide that Coast Guard mentality.
EVE may be primarily an online experience, but relationships between players exist offline too.
So I'm from Minneapolis, and I met Atten through fleets and Mercenary Coalition, our alliance. And we've been in the same fleets together, completing the same objectives, working to complete contracts for our clients.
Oh, it's awesome. When we fly together in EVE, you hear sound of voice, you talk to each other, you start building relationships, building friendships. When you meet real people here and try to associate voices, it's quite often very different. You have one perception, a person, one vision, but in reality they may look different. It's really awesome, actually.
It reinforces bonds of trust. And in a game like EVE Online, where there's so much going on, getting to meet somebody, shake their hand, and have a beer with them is a radical level of trust compared to what you have when you're just talking over a headset.
I think we do a lot of communication with each other, which is non-verbal, and it isn't captured by text, isn't captured by even video. So I think that's why people want to meet in person to discuss topics they're passionate about.
It's helped me get over a lot of my social anxieties. I'm traditionally not a very people person, and that EVE has helped me grow as a person and be able to talk to people more openly.
But I've been a part of the EVE community for about 6 years, and I felt that I wanted something to remember it by, even when I wasn't playing.
EVE's complexity might reduce its mainstream appeal, but the passion and dedication of its fans is something you can't help but admire. I've spent the last 3 days talking to players and watching presentations describing an intricate world, and the one thing I've learned is this game is about more than just spreadsheets and spaceships.